I think at 20 I wasn't as strong as I am now. Like I needed to be in the weight room more, and I was just more cardio based, and I was more like Nick Diaz style. Like I was gonna beat you on numbers, and then eventually finish you, hopefully. But I wasn't getting like that one punch knockout stuff, and now I feel like I'm not quite. I haven't had the performance to have that one punch knockout or whatever, but I think I'm in the direction of going that way.
February 19th, man, you're back in action. Austin Lingo, he's 2-1 in the UFC. He's on a 2-fight winning streak. I feel like he's a very good opponent for you. What has your assessment been of his performances so far in the octagon?
They weren't finishes. Both of my fights are finishes. He pushes to the decision. I think that'll show in our fight. And I think also my loss was against Lozon, and he didn't fight no Lozon. So those are considerable things I think to take into the fight.
When you look at the stylistic aspect of the matchup, right? What intrigues you the most?
The fact that like he comes forward, brings a fight every time, and that I know this guy. Like I scheduled this fight like a couple weeks after my last one,
Mhm.
and I know he's like a guy who's gonna stay to the fight. So I like that about him, that he will do what he says he's gonna do.
That's interesting. You said that you scheduled this fight a couple weeks after your last fight. And I remember after your last fight, you said that you wanted to return much quicker. I believe like December or so on a bigger card. Why did they decide to push you all the way to February?
I think that's just where I'm at in line.
Mm.
I think I'm not as my turnaround isn't as fast because I'm only 3 fights in, and I lost my first one. If say I would have finished my first one against Lozon, then it'd have been a different story. But that's just the way the game is going right now, and I hope to fight 3 times this year. So if that can get out there now and try to fight around May, like mid year, and then fight at the end of the year before Christmas, so I'm not starving during Christmas, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that's probably the shittiest part of being a fighter, right? Is having a fight, and have to starve for Christmas. That's
Oh
like a
yeah.
big factor.
Well, my grandma always remembered that when I was in wrestling, and she's like, "Why are you only eating the deviled eggs and green beans?" It's like I have to, state's coming up, and I got to make weight. And she's like, "You're dedicated. I believe in you."
How do you rate the deviled eggs? Your grandma's deviled eggs. Those are
Oh, the best,
delicious. Yeah,
Nobody does it like grandma.
for sure, man. Now, did you just jump right into camp, or did you kind of take some time to just work on some things and train before
I
getting into camp?
stayed I stayed active after my last fight, like real continuous. Like I didn't miss at all. Like I stayed back in the gym for like 2 to 4 weeks. As like I had a fight, like maybe someone would fall out or something because I was ready. And once they locked me in with this fight, I went back home and like took maybe 6 weeks off out of all this time since now and then. But I think camp's going good. I'm improving each week, and I'm excited to show everybody all my new skills.
Man, you've been very impressive in your last couple of fights, man. So, any tweaks and changes you made between training camps to your benefit?
I think just don't overwork myself at this point. I trained really hard for Omar to be able to be like the first guy to finish him. That was like one of my things, and hurt my body like trying to get up to that point. So I think us as fighters, like we probably get hurt more getting trained than actually in the fight, unless you're fighting like the top notch guys in the world. Um, so it's just which way you're gonna take it. You're gonna take it in the fight, or you're gonna prepare and take a little bit of bumps and bruises, and then you just gotta maintenance it as you go.
Is that something that was kind of reoccurring for you earlier in your career where you would just like overtrain and then it would affect you?
Yeah, I think it's knowing how to recover properly. You can overtrain, but if you these high performance people that run like these marathons and stuff and these like 100-mile races, like they got a way to figure it out. It's just a science, and you got to learn your body.
Did you research marathon runners and see how they're recovering?
Uh, I guess that's the next step, you know. I kind of just like do my thing, you know. I wake up and like whatever my body tells me, and then like whatever step I did the day before, like I'm trying to take better steps the next day to, you know, more greens, you know, whatever it is, like little steps to push myself to the next level.
Oh, so even like with the diet, that's part of the recovery.
Oh yeah, that's key. I mean, like you are what you eat. Like if you just eating a bunch of crap, you're gonna feel it's gonna catch up to you. Like yeah, you might be able to do it when you're younger, but now I'm getting into 30s. You know, like I'll be 30 next year, so like I gotta also maintenance my body so I can do this for a long time.
And right now you're about to turn 30, right? So when you were about to
Yeah,
turn 20, like what are the major differences for you?
I think at 20 I wasn't as strong as I am now. Like I needed to be in the weight room more, and I was just more cardio based, and I was more like Nick Diaz style. Like I was gonna beat you on numbers, you know, and then eventually finish you, hopefully. But I wasn't getting like that one punch knockout stuff, and now I feel like I'm not quite. I haven't had the performance to have that one punch knockout or whatever, but you know, I think I'm in the direction of going that way.
Yeah, well, the performance that you've had in the last two fights, they have been pretty dominant, man. You've
Yeah.
crushed the guys.
There's always cool stuff to do, always new things you can try, you know.
Now, Fight Ready, of course, it's booming, man. So many high level guys out there. The coaching staff is second to none. We know that you've been working with Eddie Cha and Santino. Who are the other coaches? Do you work with other coaches there?
Yeah, I work with the other coaches. So one of my other coaches, Chad, the lifting coach that I
Mhm,
work with, and then I'm actually taking Angel to this fight, which is Cejudo's brother,
mhm.
and he's the wrestling coach there. So those are like my main guys that I'm working with currently, and you know, it's a blessing. Like I moved down here and I didn't know if it was going to be right, and then now Figueiredo's coming down to our camp to win a belt, you know, and
Mhm.
he actually never beat him. He tied and then fought him again and lost, and now this is the first time he beat him. And then I walk in one day and John Jones is in there, so I'm like, okay, maybe I did make a right decision, you know, like. But you never know. You just got to shoot and go for it, you know, and that's how you find out.
Like you said, Figueiredo just won the belt. You know what I mean? Incredible performance.
Yeah, that was a
Any
huge win
credits?
for him
Yeah,
too.
any credits? Fight Ready for all of that, man. You guys are doing incredible work there. You're part of the team. Um, who else? Who else is like? I guess I saw you working with Bobby Moffitt. He has a fight coming up too. Is there anybody else in the trenches with you?
Bobby was one of my main sparring partners. Like we sparred yesterday. Bryce has been in, and I've been working with him. That's in Bellator. Uh, Dan Morant a little bit.
Mhm.
Luis a lot since he had fought him, and there's one more, Ramon. Ramon.
Going back to you said you're taking Angel with you. Let's be real. Be honest with me. Is Angel better at wrestling than Henry?
I don't know because Henry isn't in the gym as much, but I would say Angel's a little bit bigger guy. So like with time, you know, and he moves like a little guy. Like you don't think he can move? No, he'll surprise you.
All right. Now your last two fights, both of them are finishes, both of them on the ground, both of them second round. Do you envision the same fate for Lingo?
Yeah, I mean maybe he's a tough cat and he survives into the third, you know. But a lot of times that in that first round, uh, I'm not really a first round guy. I was more of a slower starter, but I've gotten better at in the last two fights with it, and so I don't really see me like coming out, but I could come out with a Jorge Masvidal and just get it done in the first round. So I am looking on the feet to try to do something, but definitely gonna pressure him and get him tired, and then take all the gas out of him. And in the second round, he's not gonna have that same intensity, you know.
Mhm.
And I think that's what plays into my whole game, you know.
Now you yourself coming up in that featherweight division, I would have to pick your brain about the title fight coming up, man. Your teammate, the Korean Zombie, he's going to be facing Alex Volkanovski for the featherweight belt. What is your breakdown of this matchup?
I the breakdown's gonna be hard because like I haven't even like broke it down for camp, so I don't even see the coach's angles yet. To see what it would be. That would be something for me to learn too. That's what's so cool about it. Like I'll get to jump into his and like Marco Manson's camp, and I think that's where I picked up a lot of my steam is like being a part of those camps and then going and seeing them win the way they're winning, and it's like, man, like I can do that too at that level. I'm just right behind them like a few steps.
A
But
lot
I
of
definitely
people,
got
yeah.
Zombie in that matchup. I think that's a good matchup for Zombie. He's a lot bigger than Volkanovski. Like I've trained with Zombie, and I haven't got to train with Volkanovski, but I've seen how tall he is, and I've seen how hard it is for him to make weight. So I think it'll be an interesting matchup because you can't sleep on him for the whole 5 rounds. Like he's gonna be coming at you. He's the Zombie, so.
Yeah, he's the Zombie, and I feel like the difference maker is the Zombie has the KO power that I don't think any of his previous opponents have had. Maybe Chad Mendes, he has that KO, but Zombie's a different animal. Do you feel like that could be the big difference?
Yeah, I think his striking is, his reach is going to be so much on him. And then if Volkanovski tries to pressure and wrestle at all, I don't think he's going to have it. I don't think he'll be able to do that to Zombie. So I'm excited to see how it goes. And I'm just like, that's more of like a spectator for me, like I don't want to put my hat in that draw because I don't have any place in that. You know what I mean? I'm just a competitor too. So
of course, man. You want to be up there, man. You want to be the one that everybody's
I want to
talking
be
about.
up there with those guys.
For sure. Hey, you're on your way, man. A few more questions. MMA fans, man, they can be the best and they can be the worst. You've been dealing with them for a while now. What do fans obsess about too much that fighters really don't care about?
I think they're tattoos. I think they're tattoos. Everyone's like, "What your tattoos mean?" You're like, "Man, come on now." Like you could do your research, like if you want to find out these things. But I think they just want to reply. They just want to say that, and like, yeah, I would want to reply too. Like if I hit up The Rock or, Mike Tyson, like it'd make my day if they gave me a shout out or something like that. So I feel.
PTSD in combat sport, man. A lot of people really don't talk about this too much. I'm not talking about CTE. I'm talking about PTSD, like from maybe like a bad weight cut or maybe an injury or maybe even just damage taken in a fight. Do you feel like it does exist? And have you experienced it or seen it around you?
I think it does exist, but I think it wouldn't be like in a cage because you sign up and you did it, and like you know at this level, like you can't really be mad at anybody because you're doing it at a professional level. You know what I mean? But I think anybody can be scarred. Like if you tried to do it too young, like spar too young and had a fight at a young age, or like say you got hurt real bad in the fight and like broke your jaw, and you're probably like, I'm good with that. But that's how you find out. Some people aren't built for this. This is a rough sport. Like you could get up all the way to the top and fall. It happens all the time, and people that really breaks people. So it's all about the journey.
You've seen it with Ronda Rousey, man. I feel like she is like one of the biggest cases of that. Like
I
going
just
up
hope it
to the
doesn't
top.
happen to Garbrandt. I hope Garbrandt can keep it together.
Yeah, me too. He's an exciting guy to watch. Um, Good or bad, outside of the sport, what usually keeps you up at night?
Uh, my purpose, like, do I really believe I got what it takes? Like I think I do. Was the last one just a fluke? And I think that's what always keeps me hungry and always keeps me winning, is that it's not about what I just did, and it's what about I'm gonna do, and the message I'm gonna bring.
February 19th, man, UFC Fight Night Las Vegas. Jonathan, thank you so much for the time. Good luck on the fight and continuing your journey.
Thank you, man. JSP. Woo!